And joining us right now, as he does at this time every Tuesday when we're lucky.
That's right.
Larry Kudlow of CNBC, and of course of the Larry Kudlow Show, heard right here on WMAL Saturdays. Hey, Larry, how are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
So I keep seeing all of these stories about how the dollar is stronger than ever, just posted a record number against the euro. And I need to know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because I see, as usual, Larry, conflicting analysis from all these smart guys in the economic world who are, half of them say, oh, this is a great thing for the American economy. Half of them say it's a bad thing for the American economy.
It's a great thing for the American economy.
All right, there it is.
All right.
Dollar.
Well, that was a short
That's
discussion.
all we need to know. Thanks for explain.
It's a great thing. Have you ever? You go back in history. The last really bad falling dollar period was the 1970s, a catastrophe, and it was started by LBJ, but mostly was Richard Nixon, who was among the worst economic presidents in history. I'd rate him Nixon, Hoover.
Wow.
Carter, among the worst. And inflation, sprouted up, and people lost purchasing power, and nobody invested in the United States, and oil and commodity prices boomed, but the rest of the economy sank. And then I'm just tracing it for you real quick. You come into the 1980s, and Nixon resurrects the economy with tax cuts. Paul Volcker starts slaying inflation. Real interest rates go back up, the dollar soars, the economy recovers, and a little slumpiness in the 90s, in the early 90s, but Robert Rubin, Clinton's man running the Treasury, kept a very strong dollar. You created about 7 million jobs during that two-decade period. The stock market went up about 12 or 13-fold. Think of it this way. A strong dollar is great for you and me, first of all, and our wives, because everything we buy is cheaper. Everything we buy is cheaper.
Right.
Inflation goes down. Secondly, for businesses, it's true, business have maybe a little harder time exporting, but that's just whining, in my opinion. Every single cost of a business, and they're all multinationals. They're buying stuff from all over the world, assembling stuff from all over the world, right? The whole production cost of the company goes down. Everything. So I say unambiguously positive, and perhaps most of all in today's setting, the strong dollar helped lower the oil price, because the dollar is the international currency and commodities are priced in dollars. Now, fracking on the supply side helped it too, but it drives me. Well, you see, look, all these overeducated Keynesians from the East Coast and the Ivy League are taught that a strong dollar is a bad thing. They're probably taught that a strong America is a bad thing also.
Yeah, and also the other competing economic news that came out over the weekend was that American wages for most Americans have remained pretty stagnant over the last several years. So the strong dollar, in a way, offsets the stagnant wages, I would think. Well,
yes, it makes those wages more powerful.
Yeah.
But can I just say the real story here? And I'm going to say this as a conservative who has disagreed with President Obama's economic policies about 99.9% of the time. Jobs are doing great. I just want to say that. It's good news. I'm glad more Americans are working. We've created over 1 million jobs in the last year, almost 300,000 last month. That's a good thing, and we can figure out where, why, and how. The other thing I want to say is it's true that one measure of wages, one measure called average hourly earnings, is sloppy, 2% over the past 12 months. Okay, but that's average hourly earnings. So you have to add to that average hours worked, right? If you're going to have hourly earnings, then you got to put in how many hours you worked. Well, the hours worked number has been going up along with the recovery in jobs. So that's 3.3%. So let me just do the arithmetic. 2% wage growth, 3.3% hours worked growth equals 5.3% total wage income. And since there's about zero inflation, that's all real. That's good. That's real good, by the way. And that's why I don't like that. I think Republicans Although some of my friends in the liberal think tanks are grousing about
Right.
jobs. Jobs ain't perfect. Nothing's perfect. But on the jobs front, things are getting better. There's no two ways about it. I say that take your political lens off and put your economic objectivity on, and it's better.
All right.
Better.
We value your shrewd analysis of things financial.
Well,
but we also love the fact that you do put your political lens on from time to time and look at things. And so I ask you this question. Hillary's email problem,
Right.
is it a thing or is it not a thing?
Oh, I think it's a thing. I think it's absolutely a thing. And, I have been watching this and following it like everybody else. I have no idea whether she did anything illegal. I'm not a lawyer. I have no idea. It's just very clear to me that she made big mistakes of judgment, violating White House rules, violating State Department rules. You know that story, the Kenyan ambassador, what did you say, the Kenyan ambassador was fired under Hillary because he used his personal email. Did you see that story?
Yep.
White people
Yep.
talking about
Sure
that.
did.
Also, this idea that the homegrown network from Chappaqua, basically another bad judgment on her part is she jeopardized national security classified information by hackers. All right, because her system's not as strong as the government system. That doesn't mean you couldn't hack the government, but hers is not nearly as strong. So high-level conversations, classified information, Lord knows what, could easily be found and may have been found by Russia, by China, sending it over to Iran. In other words, these are bad mistakes of judgment is what they are. What her motives are, we'll wait and see. But I think it's doing her credibility a lot of damage. I think the polls will pick this up with a delay. Probably the next round of polls, you'll see it. And you can see the Democratic Party. People say, well, is it going to affect 2016? I have no idea about 2016, November. That's a long ways away. What it is doing is it's affecting March 2015.
Yeah. Well, if you were going to, there's apparently going to be some kind of press conference. If you were sitting on the front row, what would be the first question you would ask?
Why'd you violate the rules of the White House and your own State Department?
Yeah.
Second question I might ask, by the way, is why'd you fire the ambassador of Kenya who was using the same private email you're using?
Yeah.
Why'd you do that? And then the third is just generically, don't you think that government servers can be more easily hacked than your homemade server? And I guess somebody's got to ask her, what were you hiding? Because she's not giving the information up. I watched Trey Gowdy on the tube, and those guys discovered it by chance. So now, instead of turning all the emails over, they're doing it selectively.
Yeah.
So this sounds very, quote-unquote, Clintonian to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. And Larry, it's so funny because you boil it down to the one question that still has not been asked or answered. And it's such a simple question, but the answer will reveal everything.
That's right.
Why, Hillary, did you choose to do this? It's such a deliberate act,
Right.
going out of your way to get your own servers and all these things. Why did you do it? And they'll respond and say, well, other Secretary of States did it. Jeb Bush did it, all those things.
Yeah.
That's fine. We'll ask them why they did it.
Why did you do it?
But we
Yeah.
want to know why you did it.
All right, we got
Right. You're absolutely quite right. And by the way, the other cabinet officers.
Larry, we got to roll. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We want to hear that, but we have to
Thank
go.
you. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry.
Appreciate it very much.